You are refreshed. Now what?
First of all, I'd like to thank you for the last time I was here, and I just couldn't get it. You were working with me, and I couldn't get the feeling. You asked me, so what is it that you hear yourself saying? And I didn't hear myself saying anything. Just as we were finishing, I got, that's what you're thinking. Because I don't say it. I have it in my own mind. And the 2 nights later, I had a dream. And I hadn't been dreaming very much. And it was so vivid. It was just like this enactment to just bring that feeling to me. And I woke up, and I knew exactly, and I pulled it together. And my projected clock on the ceiling with the temperature, it was 6:02 and close to like 60.4 degrees. And I looked at it and I said, universe, give it to me. And it lined up. It cooled down 4/10 of a degrees and just lined up the time. And I just, yahoo! And I screamed, and it's changed my life.
So the dream wasn't quite enough evidence?
I felt like a spoiled brat. I felt like the universe spoiled me and I wanted it all. And it was wonderful, and I keep going back to that, and I keep moving forward with that. But as you were saying, you keep getting, but it kind of goes back. And so it's just been a wonderful journey. And I thank you. My question is, these wonderful little grandchildren that are so close to Source, and my daughter is raising these 3 little ones actually, and they will say things like, that's not what my Source is telling me. It's like, okay. And they'll call me up and they'll say, Mommy wants me to do this, or she won't let me do this, and Source is telling me that it's okay. What do you say, Grandma? And so I try to.
That's the reason children are not allowed here. It's by their parents.
So I was watching them down at the seaside in Carlsbad, and the 7-year-old is going out too far. I'm sitting on the blanket. He's going out too far. And so I'm calling him, and I'm getting a little bit, okay, come on, I can't get out to you in time. And so I get him, and I say, you need to come in a little bit further. So, you're out there and the wave's too far. Mom lets me come out this far. She did say that I need to do what you tell me, but she lets me go out this far. And I said, well, and we've got this thing going on. So do I let him, can I trust? Because they are connected. I know they are way more than I am. So it is okay to just let him out there in the big waves, little 7-year-old boy?
Well, there are a lot of criteria that you have to measure this up against. In other words, so there is parental opinion about what they should be allowed to do. There is what the school would allow them, or what their religion or church would allow them, or what the government would allow them, or what the government would allow you to allow them. In other words, we appreciate you wanting to bring infinite intelligence into it when you haven't sorted it out between you and Mom, when they haven't sorted it out between them and Mom. And more than anything, we think that what this conversation is about is not so much what you should allow them to do or not do, because you're going to find out, if you haven't already, and we think you have, you can't control what they do. You can't control what they do. In other words, parents say, but I want to teach them when I'm with them how I want or need them to behave. And we say, and then the assumption is that if you've trained them well, that when they're not with you, that then they will behave exactly as they have behaved when they are with you, when the opposite is true. the more you rein them in when they are with you, the more they will test those limits when they are not. The more you make them adhere to your guidance, one of two things happens. Either they need your guidance and you must always be with them, or as soon as you're not in their range, they'll look for somebody else that they can replace you with to get their guidance from. And in the process, they train themselves away from the only guidance that ever worked for them anyway. So we know when you bring it to something poignant like this, is it really right for this child to be out in the bigger waves? And we say, we know it's all about degrees. In other words, how much freedom are you willing to allow them? But you can tell when your guidance is on track by the way you feel. In other words, we're not talking to them about how far they should go out into the surf. We're talking to you about how you feel when they are going out into the surf. And of course, you're not wanting them to do something that feels dangerous to you, but it is really worthwhile for you to reconcile within yourself whether the discomfort you feel is because someone's disobeying you or because there really is an issue for them that would be not good for them. And we have to tell you, there's a whole lot of parental and governmental and all kinds of control that's being exercised, not for your best interests, you see.
That's it. I just...
You could say in a sort of compromising way, and this would not contradict what's going on within you, because think about it. There, as we were saying earlier, the contrast that you're living is putting a lot into your escrow. So you don't want them to drown. You want them to be safe. You don't want them to be timid swimmers. You want them to be strong swimmers. You don't want them to be guided by you. You want them to have their own guidance system. You don't want them to feel bound and not free. You want them to feel free. But there's even more. You don't want to be a fussy, guarded person. You want to be one who allows. You don't want to be someone who detracts them from their guidance. You want to be an example of teaching them about their guidance. And so there's a lot in your escrow that your emotions are giving you an indicator about. In other words, the emotions in your stomach aren't just because they're about to step under a big wave and drown. The emotions in your stomach much more likely are because you are not trusting them to trust their own guidance, you see. So you could say to them, because they're listening, they've got this. They understand where you're coming from and where it's coming from. So you could say to them, I've got this knot in my stomach, and I really don't believe that it's about you not being safe, because I think you're too smart for that. And I really don't think it's about us not doing what your mom wants you to do, because I think she trusts you and I think she trusts me. So this knot in my stomach must be about me trying to control something that I shouldn't be controlling. It's about me focusing on something, like something going wrong with you, instead of focusing upon what I really know to be going on with you. So I'm working this out, and meanwhile, hang in kind of close till I work the bugs out of my vibration. Or it's just do it for me. Just stay within range.